Hello friends, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. Today I'm going to try out 3 of the brand new Fragrance World releases that are heavily inspired by a few famous designer fragrances. Now the first one is called Bright Marine Red Moon, and probably looking at the box design you can already guess that this is has been heavily inspired by a Prada fragrance. In this case, I think it's a Luna Rossa Ocean. Then the next one is called Genuine Man Giovany Reserve. Again, probably hearing the name, looking at the box design, you can probably guess that this has been inspired by a Givenchy fragrance, in this case Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. And the third one is a little bit harder to actually, imagine what is, guess what is being inspired by. It's called Nuke 2.0, but once I show you the actual bottle, you'll probably make the connection what this has been inspired by. So let's unpack them and let's try them. The first one that I'm going to unpack and try will be Genuine Man Giovany Reserve. So let's see, let's unpack it and let's see how good of a job Fragrance World have done with this one. Just as a quick mention, if anyone is interested, the production date of this particular bottle is May of 2024, so quite a recent bottle. But as I said, this is one of the newest Fragrance World releases. And if anybody had any doubts that this actually is inspired by Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, when you look at the bottle, those doubts will probably disappear very quickly. Let's check out the sprayer and see how this one smells. Sprayer is decent, has a wide distribution, but doesn't put a lot of juice out. And already in the air I can smell how this one smells and what it's close to. And indeed this does feel very similar to Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, especially in the opening. It's sweet, it's slightly powdery from the iris note. I felt the boozy note that this one has. I've not looked at the note breakdown, but the boozy note in here feels like something like a whiskey note. There's quite a bit of vanillic sweetness as well, maybe some ouds, and all around this smells very similar to the original fragrance. Pretty much almost identical, almost spot on. I'm very familiar with the original fragrance, and at least from the top of my head, what I can say as a slight difference between this and the original fragrance, maybe this one opens up slightly less sweet compared to the original fragrance, slightly less warm, and also feels like has a little bit stronger whiskey note compared to the original fragrance. But that's from smelling it up close. In the air this probably smells pretty much identical to the original. The next one that I'm going to try out will be Bright Marine Red Moon. Again, this one being supposedly inspired by Prada Luna Rossa. I think it's the EDT in this case, not the EDP, but let's check out how this one smells. Again, box design pretty similar to the original fragrance. Again, here, if anybody is interested in the production date, this one also has a production date of May of 2024, so another very recent bottle and very recent release from Fragrance World. And yes, again, a very similar bottle design to the original fragrance as well. Let's check out the sprayer of this one and let's see how this one smells. Now keep in mind that it's been quite a while since I've smelled any of the Luna Rossa fragrances from Prada, but I think I remember them pretty well. I'm going to spray it on my right hand. Again, the sprayer seems pretty similar to the other one, although this one seems to have a little bit more push. Okay. Feels very aromatic, slightly green. There's definitely a lavender note in here. There's something fresh, like a bergamot note. maybe just a hint of spiciness, but also there's some sweetness somewhere in the background, and this also feels a little bit like slightly powdery. I think the original one used to have an iris note, and I think this one also has an iris note. But it feels very aromatic, feels slightly sweet, slightly green, also feels kind of very, fresh and clean. Let's say clean. Let's use the word clean. And the next one, of course, that I'm going to try out, the last one, is called Nuke 2.0. So let's see how this one smells. And the production date, if anyone is interested here, is July of 2024. So this is a very, very recent bottle. It's only a few weeks old, basically. I'm recording this video in the second week of August. So this is probably about a month old bottle. So again, as I said in the beginning of the video, this fragrance is again another inspiration like you would expect from Fragrance World, but probably looking at the name alone, you are going to have a hard time guessing what this actually is being inspired by. But then look at the bottle itself, what this looks like. It looks like some type of grenade, hand grenade. You have this safety feature in here that's built in, and at this point you're probably making the connection between the name and the bottle design. And yes, this is inspired by a Victor and Rolf fragrance, and in this case it's Spice Bomb Extreme. So let's check out the sprayer and let's see how this one smells and how it compares, at least initially, to the original fragrance itself. The atomizer has a bit of a funky design. As you can see, there's a big gap in here for that sort of a safety piece. Oh, nice sprayer. Probably the best one out of the bunch. Okay. Okay, so this definitely feels a little bit different than Spice Bomb Extreme. It's similar to Spice Bomb Extreme, but at the same time feels a little bit different. This feels more aromatic and slightly fresher compared to the original fragrance. Feels less sweet in the opening. Maybe feels a little bit more boozy. The cinnamon note in here doesn't feel as strong as I get with the original fragrance. There's a tobacco note in here. There's vanillic sweetness. But this definitely feels slightly fresher, slightly lighter, slightly less dense and less sweet and dark version of the original fragrance. Almost feels like a mix between Spice Bomb and Spice Bomb Extreme. Just lacks a bit of the depth, a bit of the darkness and the sweetness from the Extreme Flanker, but definitely feels very, very similar to the original scent. And at the end of the video, just a quick few words about the early dry down of each of the three fragrances that I tried out today as my first impression. And probably the closest one to the original fragrance for me is, at least so far from my first impressions, will be Genuine Man Giovany Reserve. This is very, very similar to the original fragrance from Givenchy. On the dry down, this still feels a little bit less sweet and less dense compared to the original fragrance, but all around in the air this smells almost identical, and Fragrance World have done a really, really nice job with Genuine Man Giovany Reserve. And so far this has been really, really impressive, at least when it comes to the quality and how close it is to the original scent that it's been inspired by. The next one, Pride Marine Red Moon, this one of course being inspired by Prada Luna Rossa Ocean. Again, it's been a while since I've smelled the original fragrance for the last time, but so far, at least from what I remember the original smelling, this also seems to be pretty decent, decently close to the original fragrance. It's fresh, it's aromatic, slightly fresh, it's aromatic, it has slight sweetness, slight darkness, also has a slight sort of a powdery feel because of the iris note, and all around feels very, very clean, very easy to wear, and probably a very sort of an office friendly type of a fragrance, mass pleasing type of scent. And I also really like this one, and I hope that it turns out to be a good performer. And then the last one, of course, being Nuke 2.0, and this one being inspired by Spice Bomb Extreme. Like in the opening, on the dry down, this still feels a little bit fresher, a little bit lighter take on the original DNA. Lacks a bit of the sweetness, lacks a bit of the spiciness, still the cinnamon note is not as strong as I get from the original fragrance. This feels a little bit more vanillic, like a slightly more simplified, slightly more vanillic take on the original DNA. So guys, in today's video I tried for the first time 3 brand new releases from Fragrance World. Pride Marine Red Moon, Genuine Man Giovany Reserve and Nuke 2.0, and all 3 of them actually seem to be very nice. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.